Zesty Besties, today my chat has sent me a ton of Reddit crazy stories, and I want to see if these stories really are crazy or if I'm just a judgmental bitch. So let's find out together. This person up by telling my girlfriend's mom to make herself useful. Girl, that's dangerous. I'm already feeling like that's bad. This happened this morning and I still feel like an idiot. I guess the question is, are they lesbians or are they straight? You know what I mean? Like, and also what's the dynamic with the mother and the daughter-in-law or son-in-law? Well, we'll find out. Like, is it like a healthy one or bad? You know? We were organizing the house and my girlfriend's mom popped by. After some chatting, she asked if we wanted to help with anything as her day was freed up. I looked around the house and then said, yeah, if you want to make yourself useful, and pull all the tall shoes out from the rack. Pull all the shoes out from the rack. I don't know why I said tall shoes, mamas. What a weird request. Will you please pull out all of our shoes from the rack? My shoes are just sprawn across the floor. I'm not gonna lie, like I don't have a rack for shoes. She stopped completely flabbergasted. Oh. And stared at me for a few seconds. I stared back at her because I could sense something was clearly wrong, but had no idea what. You also live in a camper at the moment. How dare you say that to me? But also true. I think she could tell that I had no idea and asked me, how often do you tell people to make themselves useful? Oh, that's not even, wait, pause. I thought that she, oh, well, see the way that it's phrased though, like, I don't know. Like, it's one thing if you're arguing with someone and then you say like, can you please make yourself useful? But like the way she's saying it, like, yeah, if you want to make yourself useful and help us like pull the shoes off the rack, like those are very different ways to phrase that sentence. One is a bitchy Karen and the other is just asking for help. But also we never know over text. Like this, it could come across very, very rude. But let's keep seeing, okay? Turns out that it's actually a rude thing to say and not a single person in my life has ever corrected me on it. Again, context. Context, babes. Y'all, I say this all the time. So people probably think I'm an asshole. So now I feel bad, but no, this person's not. For context, my dad is your stereotypical blue collar, born in the sticks kind of guy. Republican. So growing up, he would always say, go make yourself useful and blank. That's very Republican. I always thought this was just some sort of quirky way of telling someone to do something. In fact, I even thought this was polite. I've suddenly been flooded by years of delayed embarrassment and will never be using this phrase again. I mean, listen, I'm going through this right now. Firstly, girlfriend's mom was not offended or being a Karen. It just kind of took her off guard and we had a good laugh afterwards. First comment, well, did she make herself useful? Did she actually make herself goddamn useful or was she not? You know what I mean? I feel like that's not a like asshole or like screw up thing. Like I feel like I've been in situations where it's like, yeah, you can make yourself useful and grab the, like it's phrasing, it's context, girly pops. Like this one is not that bad. So I feel like he shouldn't feel as guilty. It would be one thing if the mom was like just sitting there and then the son-in-law or whoever came up and was like, can you make yourself useful and do this? She asked to help. She was like, hey, can I help you with something? And he said, yes, can you make yourself useful and do this? I don't know. To me, that seems like a very normal conversation. So there's that. So there's that. So that's the first one that you guys sent in. But I'm going to say not like an asshole or shouldn't feel guilty. Okay. Next one. Am I the... I don't even know I did that. For calling my sister a sinful disgrace. No, that's a read. In front of our entire family and revealing her secret. What's the secret? I hope that she's pregnant. I, 20-year-old female, recently found out that I'm pregnant. My boyfriend, 27 male, and I have been together for 2 years. Cute. The pregnancy wasn't planned at all, but we were also not taking the steps to prevent it. Okay. Loose and raw. Moving on. With that said, we are happy and ready to start the next chapter together. We announced my pregnancy to my family at a small dinner last weekend. This is where my sister, 29 female, comes in, who is extremely religious. Again, Republican. She's the kind of person who's at church every Sunday, pretty much only reads the Bible and makes TikToks about passages. Millennial Republican. She constantly preaches about living a pure life and following God, and sometimes will force it into conversation.
Bombastic side eye.
When I shared the news, most of my family was supportive and really happy for my boyfriend and I. Everyone except her. She immediately went cold and launched into this huge preachy lecture about how disappointed she was in me. Is it because she got pregnant before marriage? She went on about how she expected better of men, how I was living in sin, and how God will judge. Girl, please. Pretty much she was making me feel horrible for not being married while being pregnant. God does not give a damn. I'm telling you right now, God does not give a damn. I tried to keep my cool, but she wouldn't stop. She kept ranting on and on. Oh my God, she clearly could tell it was bothering me. Eventually I had enough and I snapped. I figured this was the perfect time to get payback for her shaming me. I'm excited. What? Okay, what's the payback? I went on about how it was hypocritical to call me sinful when she was the one who was a fake, sinful disgrace. She too had a baby out of wedlock. And unlike me, instead of keeping it, she aborted it to make sure nobody else knew. The whole room went completely silent. My sister got up and excused herself from the table and left my house. My mom immediately started yelling at me for bringing up the past and ruining what should have been a happy evening. That's kind of crazy. Okay, wait, here's the thing. Is she the asshole? She lives in a glass house. She ought to know better than to throw stones, says one of the comments. My whole chat is saying no. Don't throw stones at a glass house, honey. Yeah, I kind of feel like you're not, you know? She who is without sin shouldn't cast the first. Yeah, listen. Wow. Next, I'm going to immediately say no to this because men are annoying. But let's see. My husband fries an egg in a Teflon pan using olive oil most mornings. Okay. He always leaves the oily pan on the stove with residue. Ugh. Yeah, no. Not. I don't even want to read the rest of this. It's not the asshole. Men are the assholes. Okay. All right. To prevent me from putting it in the sink, he has started to put the oily pan in the drying rack. Whoa. Okay. He's an asshole. I told him dirty dishes don't go. Yeah, don't put. Absolutely. That's disgusting. He said the pan is clean since cooked oil doesn't have bacteria. Okay. Sir, are you a chemist? Do you also wash your ass in the shower? Because I have a gut feeling you don't, mamas. So I don't think you know the difference between clean and dirty.
Bombastic side eye.
Disgusting. Gross. Not the asshole. I would leave it on the stove and let him shit his pants, freaking rancid oil. There it is. And you know what? So fair. Let him eat that rancid oil. Today, I effed up by throwing my steak out a window. Now, where the hell is this going? Excuse me? Last night, my wife's boss from a brand new job invited us over for dinner. Slay. On the drive over, my wife reiterated many times how important this was and to make a good impression. I scoffed and arrogantly informed my silly wife that I always make good impressions. I'm already feeling like he's gonna be the asshole. My wife's boss is a single lady in her 50s, so it was just the three of us. We chit-chatted over drinks and salads and seemed to be really hitting it off. She laughed at my well-timed, perfectly appropriate jokes. Girl, this man thinks way too highly of himself. And my wife seemed pleased. Soon she brought out the main course, a nice big juicy steak for each of us. As I began to cut into my steak, I was discouraged to discover how undercooked this steak was. Now, I've had my share of rare steak. I prefer medium, but I can handle rare. This was several minutes on a hot grill sort of rare. I probably could have resuscitated the cow had I tried. Moo moo, bitch. Instead, I sat there fidgeting with my knife and fork, worrying about how I was going to get away with not eating the steak. Claim veganism? No, I'd already feigned great enthusiasm upon seeing the steak. Just then, our hostess excused herself to the kitchen to take care of some dessert preparations. As I looked across the fancy dining room table at an open window of this third-story apartment, this feels like fake. A cartoon light bulb appeared over my head. I knew I had to be decisive, realizing that she could return at any moment. I committed. Oh my God! I grabbed the steak with my hand and threw it out the window. Here's the big time F up. The window wasn't open. It was the cleanest window you've ever seen in your life. That is, until my mostly raw slab of steak, hate those words, slammed up against it and slowly slid down, leaving a trail of bloody juice in its wake. That sentence just came out of a Wattpad story. I'm telling you right now, I've read that exact sentence in like a Wattpad fan fiction. My wife, whose steak was a nice medium rare and was unaware of the predicament, turned jaw dropped. Oh God. This look then slowly morphed into a more there's no place on this planet you can ever hide from the expression of demonic anger. My wife's boss heard the thud of the steak on window impact and came quickly. She took in the scene, the steak sitting on the windowsill, the bloody trail, an empty plate, and then gave me an inquisitive, puzzled look. I just didn't know what to say. It felt like a minute of silence, but it was probably 3 or 4 seconds. Finally, the best I could manage was, I'm so sorry. I'm such a klutz. I don't know. I was just cutting it and it slipped. Just ask my wife. I really am a klutz, right, honey? I will clean this up. I can't believe this. I'm so sorry. I think this man's an asshole, but not for throwing the steak. I think he's an asshole just for his general demeanor. That's where I think he's an asshole. Get the hell out of here, dick. Both women continued to stare at me, literally, as I smeared blood around the window with my cloth napkin. I knew what I had to do. Oh no. Wait, he ate it? And you know what? They're divorced now. Divorce, babes, divorce. One question, OP. Let's say the window was open and the steak is gone. She returns a minute later. What do you tell her? You devoured it? Yeah, exactly. What do you say? Or you just be honest and say, I'm so sorry. I am not a huge raw steak person. I don't know. Don't be fucking weird, dude. It's time like this when you should just fake a seizure, me. But I kind of think this guy's the asshole. I'm gonna say it. I don't think he's the asshole for like having a problem with the steak. I think first of all, the way he is like bringing up his wife and saying like he's perfect and then doing the steak bit, like that to me, the writing in this is what the asshole is, not the story. So he's just an asshole. Did I F up by eating 8 chocolate fiber bars? Yes. Do we even need to read on? 8 fiber bar? I mean, IBS home good shit in your pants. You know what I mean? Before a long car ride with family and experiencing the most absurd gas leak in history. This is the longest story I've ever seen, when all I know is that he's going to be farting the whole time. This happened a year ago, but I just remember the horrific event and the poor victims that never fully recovered. Yeah, that's toxic waste, babes. I was set to go on a 10-hour road trip through the interior of British Columbia. Fiber One granola bars. I do like the granola bars. Girl, who eats, first of all, what kind of sicko eats 8 granola bars in one sitting? 8? My stomach grew larger and larger and I ended up needing to remove my seatbelt. Oh God. Girl, she's bloating. It's like a blueberry scene from Willy Wonka. Okay, so he grew. The gas hissed out of my stomach, shuffled and shuddered. I am not exaggerating when I tell you, oh God, at least 15 seconds. Girl, I don't even want to read the rest of this. The fact of the matter was that I was now experiencing major flatulence every 2 to 3 minutes, and we couldn't stop the car every few minutes to escape the smell. 7 hours. You know, I'm shocked that this man did not his pants. Oh wait, here we go. At hour 4, disaster struck. Girl, I'm not reading. That is so filthy. I'm not reading. Who sent me this one? You are nasty. Tidal wave, peanut butter oatmeal coming out of him. We're done. Did I F up by enraging the parents of my girlfriend by pretending not to know what a potato is? Let me tell you, I've made a bad mistake this evening. My girlfriend, who, let me tell you, is only my second girlfriend of all time, said I am invited to dinner with her and her parents. I was very aghast. Okay, he's gay. Nervous and bashful. Really gay to be invited to such a situation, but I knew it must be done. I met them nicely, I should tell you, and it started off in a good way. The idea slapped in my mind that I should do a comic bit. Men, if you are watching this and you have in your mind something like, I should do a comic bit ever, if that thought ever enters your mind, immediately stop. When I saw that baked potatoes were being served, I got the idea they'd be very good if I pretended I did not know what potatoes were. That would be funny. No, it would not. Well, let me tell you, backfired on my plate, on my face. I'll tell you, yeah, listen. So first when the potato became on my plate, I acted very interested. Girl, can he not spell? Very interesting. I showed an expression on my face so as to seem that I was confused, astounded, but in a restrained way. Girl, who is this man? Curious and interested. They did notice and seemed confused, but did not remark. So I asked, this looks very interesting. What is this? They stared at me and the mother said, it's a baked potato. And I was saying, oh, interesting. A baked, what is it again? And she was like, a potato. And I was like, a potato? Oh, interesting. Never heard of a potato. Looks pretty good. And they didn't see I was clowning, but thought I really did not know what a potato was. So I knew I would be very shamed, humiliated, depressed, and disgusted if I admitted to making a bad joke. You know what? And this is what I like him for. He committed to the bit and pretended he did not know what a potato was. They asked me, very incredulous, did I really not know what a potato is? That I'd never even heard of a potato? I went with it and told them yes, I'd never seen or heard of a potato. Not only had I never eaten a potato, I had never heard the word potato. This went on for a bit. My girlfriend was acting very confused and embarrassed by your antics. And then the more insistent I was about not knowing what a potato was, the parents started thinking, you did know what this guy cannot spell, by the way. The grammar in this is crazy. Well, let me tell you, I had to commit 100% at this point. When I would not admit to knowing what a potato was, the father especially began to get annoyed. At one point, he said something like, enough is enough. You're effing with us. Admit it. And I said, sir, before today, I had never heard of a potato. I still don't know what a potato is, other than some kind of food. I don't know what to tell you. Well, let me tell you, he got very annoyed. I decided to take a bite of the potato, and when I did, I made a high-pitched noise and said, tastes very strange. That is when the father started yelling at me, and the mother kept saying, what are you doing? And my girlfriend went to the other room. He took it too far. Finally, the father said I should get that out of his house. And I said it was irrational to treat me like this just because I'd never heard of a potato before. Well, let me tell you, he didn't take that kindly. Now in text messages, I've been telling my girlfriend I really don't know what a potato is. He's dug himself too deep. He's in too deep now, girlies. You need to commit 100% to this now. Invent a religion, perhaps an obscure offshoot of Roman Catholicism, formed after the Irish potato famine. Oh my God! That eschews potatoes in all their forms. Create a Wikipedia page. Find a passage in the Bible that supports it. That is committing to the bit. Okay, you can claim a lot of things in this world. You can claim you don't know how to read. You can claim you don't know specific words. You can claim idiocy on many things. But a potato is so universally used and known. There is not a fucking way you don't know what a potato is. Okay, so I get why the bit does not work. Okay, because guess what? It doesn't work. Everybody, look at, there's too many forms. It'd be one thing if it was like mushrooms, right? Mushrooms are one thing, but you're talking about a potato. A potato has like 85 different evolutions. Waffle fries, French fries, crinkle cut, potato chips, nacho fries from Taco Bell. I mean, like, what do you want me to do? McDonald's fries, like, come on, you know? At some point, it's a staple in the food group. So I'm gonna say he kind of fucked up, and he's a little bit of an asshole for it, but he should still commit to the bit because I think it's funny. So there it is. I hope you enjoyed us reading some of these crazy, crazy stories to all of you. It definitely was a little wild. Some of these were insane. Some of them were not so insane. But overall, I feel like most of these were just people doing their best. And I love that for them.